Hey, making good people defenseless does not make bad people harmless.
That's right.
Gun control laws only disarm the law-abiding. Think about it. All the regulations and restrictions around firearms only makes it harder for good people like you to defend themselves. Help us fight back and become a member of the San Diego County Gun Owners. We make activism easy. Join today. Go to sdcgo.org/join and sign up to be a member. Together, we will win.
Hey, we're going to do something different in the 4 o'clock segment.
We're actually going to have the guest that normally sits till 5:45. We're going to let him talk.
No.
No.
Actually, that's not it at all.
What is it?
But let's introduce everybody. Hi, Alicia. How are you?
Hey, doing well.
This is
Fantastic. No, it's not. We always do this.
new. You never do this.
We always
do. You ever
this.
get introduced?
Sometimes.
Oh,
Depends.
politician.
Depends on my
Depends.
attitude. Depends on if she's on time or not.
Well,
Sometimes we
there's
can't
that
introduce
too. I
her.
wasn't even going
Sometimes
to
I
go
get hung
there.
up on that range. I know.
And then Desi from Not Me fame, fresh
Mike.
off her KUSI tour this morning.
If you guys want autographs, I'm here for the next couple hours.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'll look for my pen.
Yeah, I got one right here.
Oh, great. Okay, so I get a lot of questions all week. I get some of them, Desi, you see the questions that come in, you know, kind of just general questions about all kinds of stuff. And so I thought it'd be useful for us to talk about some of these questions. So that's the segment.
Sounds great.
We don't have any.
I take it we don't.
That felt sarcastic.
Because it did.
We're gonna try it.
Dave is never sarcastic.
I've
Yeah.
never.
We're gonna
have
try
I
it.
ever been sarcastic?
It's Easter, so I'm sure everybody
Isn't it funny how some people think you're sarcastic and you never think you're sarcastic?
I'm actually honestly when I lie, everybody believes me, and when I tell the truth, everybody
Nobody-
thinks
No
I'm
one believes
lying.
you.
But wait,
So
before
it's
you,
kind of along the line
before
because
you-
of the sarcasm.
Before you answer the question,
Yes.
did you see what Denny's is doing?
No.
Yeah.
What is Denny's doing?
Oh,
I don't get their
yeah.
newsletter
Yeah.
anymore.
Haven't
No.
seen it?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, he's not checking his messages because Rich
I
sent it
know.
to all of us.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
What was it?
Oh,
Well,
I
yeah.
didn't
there's
get
a
the
there's a
message.
petition,
There's a
and you know what's
petition.
funny is when I saw the headline, I thought, oh, Mike's had some time
I
on his
thought
hands.
Mike
I
had
thought Mike
something
did
to
it.
do with it.
I
Yeah,
thought Mike
so
did
did
it.
I.
What was the petition?
There's a petition to bring back the Brooklyn spaghetti.
Nice. Did I tell you?
Serious as a heart
Of course, that
attack.
would be
telling
something from Mike.
Oh,
of course.
about 3 or 4 days ago. I'm telling you, it is good spaghetti. 3 or 4 days ago, I was having spaghetti at a very well-known Italian restaurant in San Diego.
That you're not going to
That
mention.
I'm not going to mention because I seriously, I got it like halfway through and I'm like, this stinks. This isn't very good. And I longed for Denny's spaghetti. It was the only thing on that menu that was any good.
You didn't like their short stacks of pancakes?
No, I'm not a big pancake. I tell people I don't have a sweet tooth. I have a meat tooth.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
There you go.
nice.
See that?
Look at how good that looks.
Look, his mouth
Denny's
is watering.
spaghetti.
It is really
You'd
good,
rather
I'm
have Denny's
telling you.
spaghetti over something with a homemade
Dude,
marinara sauce,
no.
homemade
He'll
meatballs.
argue
No,
with you till the cows
No,
come in.
listen. If you have good spaghetti, lay it on me. We found another place called Sauce down in PB that has excellent spaghetti.
Okay,
But
they've got
Denny's
1,000
spaghetti-
signatures, and they only need 1,500.
So, Mike, you can get those extra 500
Okay, listen, everybody. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to send this out.
via newsletter.
We are. It's going in the next Gun Owners Radio email. I want everyone to please sign this thing because I can't tell you the
How important
longing,
it is.
The
So,
longing in my heart.
I sense
the
another
hole in my heart.
10 ring event coming up
Yeah.
at the Denny's.
We just
That's it.
served Denny's spaghetti. All right, listen. Q&A set. Let's at least try this.
All right.
segment. Okay, so every week, every day, I get questions. People email questions in. They want to know. So I figure if people are asking these questions often enough, let's get them on the air so people know. So I always get Desi. You know, we always
know.
get some version of this question. Why is the CCW wait time so long?
Because we're doing our job and helping people apply for their CCW.
It's actually a big part of it. A big part of it is that we've been pushing this for years, and we've caused the backlog. But there's a little bit more to it, and I just want to talk about it. So the previous sheriff, they were issuing 150, maybe 200 a month. If 200 happened in 1 month, that was a good month. It was usually 150, 160. Almost as soon as the new sheriff, Kelly Martinez, came on board, thanks to San Diego County Gun Owners helping her get elected, she's now up to about 700 a month, which is fantastic.
Especially if you understand their timeline of how much time they have allotted to process this. I think that's pretty 1 day a week.
Yeah, exactly. So and that's part of the issue. The backlog we've created, the backlog that was created from the Bruin case, they really still haven't upgraded much, other than going to Permidium. They haven't upgraded much since they were putting out $150, $200 a month. And that's really has more to do with government than anything else. They haven't gotten a budget increase, which they're working on now, thanks to Supervisor Joel Anderson. And they're hoping to be able to spin off an entire division, 2-3 full-time employees, 5 days a week. That's all they're working on are CCWs. The other thing they're doing in mid-April, mid-April, they're actually gonna start moving away from Permidium, and you're gonna use an app. You're gonna use an internal app that should make them a little bit more efficient. It should be a little bit more user friendly. But here's the thing that everyone misses. I get so much positive feedback from people who go back into Permidium, once or twice a week. They just kind of have a little tickler in their calendar, and they go back into Permidium, and boom, sure enough, they will find eventually a date that's much, much sooner. I know somebody who applied in early January, and they've already had their appointment.
We've had a few calls on that as well. Other people in the same boat.
And what's happening is, so they really can only do $150, $200 a month. She's doing $700 a month. It's opening up spots. It's opening up spots for people to apply, which is go back into. This is why I say go back into Permidium, find a new date, and you should be able to handle it. But know that the problem's getting better. And what really drives me nuts is, this sheriff is slow boating us so that we don't get our CCWs. No, the sheriff has issued 3 times as many per month than like any sheriff ever. Any sheriff, the next best month, she's doing 3 times as much on an average month. So no, the sheriff is extremely supportive on CCWs. She's been wonderful. She's been great, and that's why it's taken a little too long. We want to get it now. I think a reasonable timeline is about 90 days. I think if from application to here's your CCW, as long as you do everything you need to, I'd like to see
2 minutes.
90 days. I think that's probably reasonable. What do you think? 90 days?
I think so.
Some people get it in 65. Some people get it in 92 or whatever. But basically 90
on
days.
average.
Yeah. What do you think, Dave? When are you getting yours?
Hey, I'm donating $25 to Denny's. Be quiet.
That's what Dave is working on.
Is there a website? What is the website for that? It's probably too long. We can't get it over the.
No, we'll send it to you.
Rich actually posted it in the YouTube live stream. He has it in the thread there.
All right, good. We're going to email that out.
But I have to put my code in 6.
So I have a bunch of other questions, and I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over these questions every day or every week at 4 o'clock, and so that people have the information they need to be successful. Because like I said, we get a lot of questions.
1 minute.
Right, Desi?
Ton of them.
What's a common question you can think of? I'm putting you on the spot.
Monthly dues?
Yeah, monthly dues.
Yeah,
that's
that's
actually another
another
one. So why do we auto-renew the monthly dues? Because it takes a lot of time for us to go back and,
Remind you. to sign you up.
people. If it were just as simple as sending out an email, an automated email, hey, time to renew, and then it just happened, that'd be one thing. But it just isn't. We have to go chase people down or whatever. So you're not required to auto-renew. You can say, hey, I'm going to do it manually, but we encourage you. We beg and plead of you. Would you much rather us be working on Second Amendment issues and doing good things?
Or collecting your money.
Or collecting money from people who didn't want to do auto-renew or whatever.
Auto-renew is the bomb.
Thank you, Dave.
Auto payments for everything.
Hey, I haven't had to fool with it. And, in fact, I keep forgetting I'm a 10-ringer.
That's right. So you can auto-renew annually for your $100, or you can auto-renew every month for $10.
And you automatically renew it when it expires.
Yes, we do every
Right.
year.
Yeah, you don't even have to go in, and it's wonderful.
All right. There you go. So those are our first 2 questions.
Hey, gun owners, you got to listen up. If you ever have legal matters that involve firearms, you need California's best firearms lawyer, and that means John Dillon. He can help you with red flag laws, gun registration, gun transportation, or maybe you just need to know that your guns are California compliant. John Dillon specializes in California gun laws, so put his number on your phone right now, 760-642-7150. That's John Dillon, California firearms lawyer, 760-642-7150.
All right. Special shout out to my best buddy, John Petrolino, who's listening. And I agree. I am a fly guy. Thanks for the comment. Thanks for listening. Okay. So we have Desi in the house.
Hi, Mike.
You are the, what I always forget your title.
I mean,
I think I gave you your title. I don't remember what it is.
No, I gave myself a promotion a couple of years ago.
Oh,
so
did you?
I
What was
did.
your what did you promote you to?
Program director?
Program director.
It sounds more official to me.
And it fits the
does.
card better.
And
and
it
what
does
it-
fit the card better.
You know, and it really is a far better description of what you do and what a program it is. Your program is
Not Me SD.
Not Me SD, and you do a fantastic job. Not Me SD. Well, tell everybody what's Not Me SD,
So Not Me SD is a
or Not Me in general.
Talk more into the mic.
Okay, is that better?
You can yell.
So,
Yes.
Not Me SD was founded in 2019 and was San Diego County Gunner's response to help combat sexual assault and domestic violence in San Diego. So we help women in 3 areas. We help them find an instructor. We help them apply for their CCW, and we help them choose the right firearm.
Yep, that's exactly what we do. And how many women have successfully gone through that program?
Successfully, we're right around that 1,200 mark right now. Within the next couple of weeks, we will have officially 1,200 graduates through the Not Me SD program.
Congratulations.
It's a huge deal.
And like 99% of those, you worked through that program. Right?
Correct.
I mean,
It's been a lot of effort that we've worked through. I mean, of course, with my ambassadors, my volunteers, we've done the work together, but it definitely takes an army to help this program be successful.
So we're going to talk about April.
We're going to talk about April.
We have a lot of stuff coming up. But while we
Right.
were off the air, what was the comment you made?
Which 1911 should I be looking for?
Yeah, you said you wanted to buy a 1911. I said, which manufacturer? And you said, I don't know. Which one do you think? So what do you? So we got to talk about that for a minute because I think we're a gun show. I think anytime guns come up, we got to talk about it.
I think so.
Alicia, which one do you think I should get?
Okay, so if money is not an issue, I'm a fan of the Dan Wesson.
That one's
Jeez.
the expensive one, isn't it?
It's,
It's like
it's one of them.
Yeah.
Well, what's your idea of expensive? Because some people, when you say, "Oh, it's $1,500," that's nothing.
I mean, they do have different models, but you're usually going to spend more than two.
$2,000.
Yeah,
$2
usually.
grand, you think, for 1911?
Dan, let me look him.
Oh, for a
let me look up-
Dan Wesson.
Dan Wesson. Yeah,
yeah.
Dan
Yeah.
Wesson specifically.
I thought you were saying on average.
No,
what makes
no,
a
no,
Dan-
no, no,
what
no, no.
makes-
I mean, you can get a Rock Island for what, 4 or 5?
So what
yeah,
makes
I'm not going to go that
No.
cheap.
Well,
because
what
that's
makes
like
a
the
Dan
cheapy
Wesson
one.
It's
So-
just
They're beautiful
It's
guns.
like your car. You just get in, you sit in it, you
a
touch it, you
Rolls
hold
Royce.
it.
Right.
Yeah, you shoot it. It's just so smooth.
Yes.
It feels good.
What are you leaning towards, Desi?
I've
Are you
just
wide
now-
open?
I'm wide open right now. I don't want to spend like $4,000 on one. I can spend, let's just say
2.
maybe 2. It would be reasonable.
Give
because
yourself a raise. You're in charge and not me. It's easy. You got a new name, a new title. Just write a check.
Yeah, try to check.
Just write a check. No big
Now
deal.
you're going to want to go shoot it before you
course.
buy it, right?
I mean,
Well.
I have enough friends that have them that I
Oh,
can
okay,
shoot theirs
okay.
before I buy it and then
Okay.
just go find whichever one I want.
Well, I was just going to say, but
Right.
there's nothing worse than buying it and then shooting it and saying, "Ugh."
So honestly, I would love to buy one that was like used that has a lot of history behind it. Like I want like an old school 1911 that is like from like the 50s, 60s that has some history. I think that would be really
Wow.
cool, but that's going to cost me like $4,000
Wow.
The older it is, the more it costs, just like a car.
because it's an antique
Well,
and it's a
depending.
classic.
Yeah, depending. I don't know. I don't have a 1911. I keep looking, and I think if I were to buy one, I really like Springfield's TRP.
I've seen the Springfield ones. I like that one, but for
That's
me,
like $1,600 or
How
something.
much is it, Alicia?
I think Mike's pretty close.
No, but
Oh, the Dan Wesson. They have models starting just under 2, like 18.9 around there.
I mean, to me, the 1911 is just a classic gun, right? Like it's very historical because everybody knows what a 1911 is.
So this isn't something you necessarily carry every day. This is something more of a collector.
It
There's-
would be a collector's item,
so
correct?
there's 3 kinds of gun owners. There's shooters, hunters, and collectors.
So I'm a shooter,
Yeah.
but I want to get into the collecting world.
I was gonna say shooters don't collect or hunt, hunters don't collect or shoot,
Right.
and
Go
collectors
ahead, you're
don't
doing
hunt
good with
or.
this. I'm very good. I
know
didn't
what I
think you were going to pull that off.
I pulled it right off.
You did.
All right, well, cool. Well, good luck. If you guys have suggestions, put them in the chat or send an email and tell Desi what 1911 you think she should look at and why, especially the why.
So let me ask you this.
Most gun owners, by the way, most gun owners, we're lacking on the why.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it looks
But
cool.
everybody has an
That's
opinion.
what I had.
Everybody has an opinion on
Mm-hmm.
it. It doesn't matter who you are. They always have, you should get this one.
Okay, so you're buying a used gun, let's just say.
Uh-huh.
Would you recommend to anybody that was doing the same thing to take it to a reputable gunsmith and have
Of
it
course.
completely examined?
Oh, of course, I would do that. in a heartbeat.
But, a lot of people wouldn't even think twice about it.
I mean, if it wasn't in the greatest condition, I would take it to a gunsmith and just have him clean it up and make it,
Make
good as
sure
good new.
everything is
Yep.
good to go. Yeah.
I know enough
just-
gunsmiths.
Or just get a YouTube video and spend the next 3 weeks trying
Or
to
give
put
it
it.
to
I-
Michael. He'll put it
I
in
don't
the,
have time for that.
Hey, Michael will put it in the sink.
Just soak it in some frog
He'll
lube.
soak in some froggy lube, get it all wet, and
Froggy
scrub it down. It'll be good
That'll
to
be
go.
just fine. Okay, so again, if you have a 1911 suggestion, please send it to Desi. She wants to know.
I do, but
The most votes will not win anything. So
so
Only
let's
get
talk
a T-shirt.
about why we're here today to talk about
Please
Not
do.
Me. So
what's going on in April? Talk about
April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and it's a campaign that is every April where we want to increase about the risk factors for sexual assault, and we want to encourage individuals to take steps to prevent it within our communities, right? So what Not Me is doing in April is we have a lot going on. So let's just kind of start from the beginning, and we'll talk about the different types of trainings that we offer. And we still have spots open. So if there's any ladies out there, if you're still interested in learning more about these trainings, definitely reach out. We'll make sure we can get you signed up for these classes. So the first training is going to be on April 9th, and that is going to be at North County Shooting Center with Patrick, which is one of their amazing instructors up there. And we're going to be doing a seminar on home defense.
Oh, wow.
So we want to talk about what to do if someone breaks into your house. Do you hunker down? Do you run and hide? Do you call 911? Do you try to shoot the individual, right? So we really want to teach women about what to do if someone actually breaks into your house.
So the whole curriculum is how to prepare,
Correct.
how to set your house up, what
Yep.
to do,
What to
probably some of
do,
the
what to not
legalities.
do, Yep, exactly.
And Patrick's teaching that?
Patrick's teaching that.
Wonderful guy. I love that guy.
Love Patrick. So then we have a shooting social on April 13th, which this is actually a really cool shooting social because it just happened to fall in April, which is our Not Me shooting social. And I have this one individual who she's attended so many shooting socials and she absolutely loves coming. And she was talking about this at her church.
Is that
And-
Elaine?
No, it was a different one.
No.
And all of these ladies were like, hey, we would love to, we've never shot before. We'd love to come and do one of these events. And so she reached out and I was like, just buy all the tickets for a shooting social. So she did. So now we've got 12 ladies from one of our church groups. Half of these ladies have never shot before that'll be attending the shooting social in April.
That's cool. And for those, I'm starting to get a lot of confusion on the shooting socials. So the shooting socials, we named it after ice cream socials. So I get why people are confused. In hindsight, maybe we could have had a little bit better descriptive name. But the shooting socials they're for two people. They're for experienced shooters who want to teach somebody and give them a first-time shooting experience. And you go to our volunteer page,
Correct.
and all you got to do is bring your eyes, ears, and 9mm gun, and boom. You're
And a
you're-
teaching attitude.
And a teaching attitude, positive mental attitude.
Exactly.
You don't have to be a certified instructor. You're just giving somebody a first-time shooting experience. The other side is if you're brand new, you've never really shot a gun, or maybe you did once or twice or whatever in your life, but you have very, very little experience. If you have no experience at all, then it's $60.
Correct.
It is 2 hours on a Saturday morning, 8 to 10, usually at the Gun Range San Diego, but sometimes at North County Shooting Center.
Yep, we do those once a quarter now.
And sometimes at Discount Gun Mart. Sign up, and boom, that $60 gets you everything you need. You just show up in comfortable shoes.
No low-cut shirts,
and
ladies.
No low-cut shirts.
You get
and
eyes, ears, ammo, and a great experience on the range for 2 hours.
There you go.
An experience.
And why no low-cut shirts?
Because this is
Dave, that's what stood out to Dave. Wait a minute.
Taking
so
away all the no.
when
I'm just saying a
brass-
lot of people may not know what you're talking about if
So
they're
when
new.
brass
It's a
comes
funnel.
out of the firearm, it's very hot, and sometimes it likes to make their way down
And
your
that's
shirt.
the first place it goes.
It is
does.
the first place it goes, and it hurts. And the first reaction that people want to do is go, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh!" I'm like, "Get it out!" But as they're doing that, they're waving around the firearm like this, like a crazy person, and that's not safe. And so,
Did you ever have that happen?
I've had that happen multiple times.
Did you ever have that happen?
Well, the
The
brass,
brass?
part, yeah.
Absolutely. But I suck it up.
Yeah, you kind of have
Yeah.
to. But 22 brass
Did you
is
ever have
like
that happen?
Yeah, out at Frontside, I had
Oh, yeah.
I had a buddy next to me who was he's shorter than I am, and he was just the right height, and his brass ejected out of his AR.
Oh,
It was AR brass went down the back of my shirt,
oh,
and I could hear it sizzling into my
yeah.
back, and
Yeah.
I had this welt for
really?
like
And
a
you did the
week.
boogaloo?
I did. I'll be honest with you. It resulted in a negligent discharge because I had just finished. It was a target, and it was shooting two on the target, and I had just
2 minutes.
hit 2 on the target, and my finger was still on the trigger right as this thing was burning the mess out of me. So I ended up doing a third into the berm just below the target, but then finger straight and everything, and it. I danced. Honestly, I don't think most people didn't even realize it was negligent discharge because it was so close to the other two.
But you got on.
I knew
you
it
got
was.
on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah,
So I remember during
surprisingly
COVID.
nimble.
You remember Claire, Mike?
Yes.
Yes. So she and I were at the shooting range, and she was wearing a mask, and a little 22 bullet made its way into her mask, and it got her right on the chin, and she had a nice little burn. So burns are not fun. I mean, I used to call them booby burns when you'd have a brass go down your shirt, and those things hurt. But
Well, I only bring it up because we're talking about new shooters.
Right. And so that's why I always, before we do a shooting social,
1 minute.
walk around and I'm looking at the girls and I'm like, hey, you're going to have a problem. Zip up your jacket. Let's make sure you guys aren't going to have this issue because it's always that finger and they're doing the little brass burn dance. And I don't like to see that on the range. So
Wow, that part just didn't even dawn on me.
Oh yeah, we see
All the
just
time.
at the range. Yeah, you see women coming with their boyfriends or on a little date, and they're wearing these cute little low cut tops.
they're like, oh my gosh, you're going to teach me how to shoot?
Yeah.
I'd say here,
can't-
fire this one.
Here's a doily.
The program
Right?
the program
Here's a
director
handkerchief.
of our women's program can't make fun of women shooters on the air.
I will make fun of them to their face. It's okay. I will be there and be like, oh my
See,
God.
you and I
Jenny."
can't do
we
it.
can't do that.
I will do that any day. And I will also make fun of women that have the long nails because if they're too long, they can't hold the gun. And I've had women that have come in with nails out to here. You can't hold a gun.
Doesn't quite work.
No, it doesn't quite work
so
out
you
that
won't
well.
even let them do it.
I will, but they just can't do as good
Just
a
take
job.
pliers and snip
I'll
them
take my
things
own little
off.
fingernail clippers with me.
There you go.
So that's just a little bit of what she's got going on.
We got more stuff to talk about next.
More?
Way
A
more.
lot
Right
of
here?
more.
Yeah.
I got like 3 more events we're going to talk about.
Oh my
So-
God! Hey folks, you want to learn to fly? Well, you can get your pilot's license right here in San Diego. Why? Because it's the best place that you could get an airplane pilot's license because pilots can fly almost every day. Learn to fly with San Diego Flight Training International. Gun owners, radio listeners, check this out. You get 1 hour of ground school, 1 hour of flight with an instructor, and yep, you get to fly. $400 value, but we're going to cut you a deal at $350. Give them a call at 858-569-1822 or go to Learn to Fly with SDFTI. I'd call them 858-569-1822.
All right, we're talking to Desi from Not Me, program director, right? Program director. Yeah, program director from Not Me. And you were talking about how April is sexual assault awareness.
Your mic's dead.
Hey, we got a mic dead.
Uh-oh, can you hear me
There
now?
you go.
there it goes.
All right,
So
there we
you-
go. So
Desi
April
go
is
ahead.
Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and so we're talking about the different types of trainings that we have set up in April. So far we've talked about the one that we have with Patrick up at North County Shooting Center on April 9th. We have our shooting social, and the next up is actually Alicia and I are kind of tag teaming this training together where we're doing a similar one but down at Discount Gun Mart because I have a lot of women throughout the county, so I wanted to make sure that I gave them both like different options for taking this type of training. So we're doing a home defense training as well. Do you want to talk about what we have, the idea that we're going to be doing at Discount
Sure.
Gun Mart?
So we're going to take the concept like you had mentioned about doing with Patrick up at North County, but we're going to kind of hone in on one aspect of that. Of course, we know that in a home situation, if you ever can, you want to avoid, you want to de-escalate, you want to go the other way. But knowing that a lot of women have families, you have kids. If there's someone in your home, you can't just simply hole up in place and then leave your children to themselves, right, in the bedroom or wherever they may be. So sometimes you might need to navigate and move through your home to get to your children. And so we're going to actually use a space that we have available there with real house furniture, and we're going to kind of teach how to tactically move through should you absolutely have no other choice and have to get there. And we are going to use SIRT pistols.
Yep.
So it's no live fire. So we're just going to kind of teach them how to navigate and move through a space should you need to if you have no other options.
So it's going to be really cool. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
How many people are in that class?
So we have about 11 so far. Our goal was 10 to 15 because aside from that, it'd be too many.
Yeah,
So
we
I
don't-
think we're right on target with
Yeah.
what we're looking for.
So home defense,
Home defense.
and then what's the next?
The next one I'm actually really excited about, and he's been an in-studio guest with us more than a handful of time. Mike DeSargo.
Oh, I like Mike.
I love Mike. I love how he thinks about mindsets and things. And I'm actually taking his training this next Saturday, which will be really cool.
Nice.
But so he is doing a seminar for us, and this is actually via Zoom because I wanted more women to attend. But it's a mindset focused on empowering women with the mindset to not be a victim. So what we're going to talk about, what he's going to talk about is why men have the mindset that women are seen as easier targets. He's going to talk about the mentality behind that and kind of talk about the men mindset, and then we're going to kind of transition into how women can change their mindset so that way they're not a victim.
Oh, wow. That's very interesting.
So I love Mike and the way he kind of thinks about things. And so he's been working on the seminar, putting it together because he's never done this before. And he is volunteering his time, which is fantastic. And so I'm really excited.
So 2 home defense and then 1 mindset.
1 mindset. We have the shooting social.
And the shooting social.
And then the big wrap up is actually going to be in May with District Attorney Summer Steffen.
Yeah.
And so Summer has always been a big fan of Not Me. This will be her 3rd cocktail hour that she's actually been doing for Not Me. And so the whole point is we're hosting her for this cocktail hour, and she's going to talk about what she's doing in San Diego to help combat sexual assault and domestic violence. She'll talk about tools that are available to different women and what to basically expect if something happens and what her team is doing to, fill in the gaps and with those answers.
I think that's awesome. That sounds very cool.
It's very cool. So our goal was to get about 50 people to this, and we're almost at capacity right now, which is great.
Well, how do they sign up?
I'm not going to tell everybody how to sign up because everybody's going to want to go because I'm almost at capacity already. So I wanted to make this a very exclusive event, and these are really for the women of Not Me SD. Like, I want them to have an opportunity to come and meet Summer Steffen. I mean, a lot of these women that are actually signed up have been victims before, and so I really just wanted it to be an opportunity to give back and to let them kind of come and talk with her and see what she's doing.
Plus, there's going to be some wine and charcuterie.
There's going to be lots of great, delicious items there to eat because we're doing it at the butcher shop, and the butcher shop has amazing food, as you know. So we like to do our events there.
Dave, what's charcuterie?
It's a piece of wood with a lot of meat on it.
Meats and cheeses.
Right. That's exactly what it is. I'm so impressed right now.
Yeah, I watch the
and
Food Network.
cheeses. I love the Food Network.
I do too.
Yeah. So
That's cool. Okay, so April again is Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Correct.
And the official color is
teal,
exactly.
which just
right.
happens to be my favorite color, which we didn't know about until after I got hired.
Right. Well, we launched Not Me
In 2019.
April of 2019.
Yes, sir.
And we
It's been that long, I know.
Waited for we were kind of looking around. Well, gee, is there a month or a week or a day or something that would make sense for us to launch on? And launching in the middle of Sexual Assault Awareness Month was right around the corner. And we thought, well, that works perfectly because the whole program is to stop and prevent sexual assault.
I want to kind of mention a statistic that I just saw. So I read an article a couple of weeks ago where it was in the Hoya Times, and it was San Diego crime rates dropped for the 2nd consecutive year.
Nice.
Now, one statistic that I want to point out on there is it says that sexual assault is down 16.2% for the 2nd year in a row.
Wow.
Now, if you think about it, in the past couple of years, I would say we're probably graduating roughly 300 women a year, statistically.
Yep.
And so if those 300 women are protecting themselves, they're empowered, they're not victims of sexual assault anymore, I purposely believe that Not Me is a definite driver in getting that statistic. I mean, 16% might seem small for some, but to me, that's a big accomplishment that it's not going up.
Yeah.
It's going in the right direction. And so the empowerment that Not Me has been doing in, the community for the past 5 years, I think that the work that we're doing is definitely paying off. And I'm very proud of the work that we do. I'm very proud of my ambassadors and the work that we do. And I love telling stories about women where they know about the program, but they've never met me before. So I was at a wedding last night. I was at Savannah's wedding. And I had a lady come up to me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, are you Desiree Bergman?" And I was like, yes. And she's like, "Oh, I've seen you on the KUSI. I love listening to you. I love the program that you do. I love Not Me. Keep up the good work."
Oh,
And
how'd
so
that feel?
it felt great because it just shows me that the reputation of the program and the work that we do, it really pays off. And even for people that I've never met before, it's making an impact. And that's what we want to do is we want to help as many women as we can so they have the tools to defend themselves.
You know what I love when I promote it or talk to a girl about it? Not all the time, but every once in a while, most of them go, "Oh, no, it's not for me." But once I explain the program, really?
Yeah.
All girls?
Yep.
We get to go to the range?
Mm-hmm.
I go, yeah, and you're going to be so well protected, and you're going to meet some great friends. Okay, and then they take the card. But the initial reaction, "Oh, no, I'm not into guns."
Right. Well, because
My husband is.
guns, they haven't always been such a female-dominated industry, right? And it's still very much male-dominated.
Right.
But women, because of the way things are in the world these days, like we have to protect ourselves.
Right.
Like you can't count on the police to save us anymore. And so for me, firearms are not always the answer, right? Like all of us in this
And
room.
that's what I tell them. Last resort.
It's a last resort because as soon as you pull that trigger, you are going to jail, regardless if you're in the right or if you're in the wrong. And so that's why I like to do these other types of trainings to empower women with additional tools to protect themselves. Because let's say they don't want to own a firearm and they're too scared to, then great, let's teach you about pepper spray and situational awareness, which Alicia just did a couple of weeks ago for the girls. And so we really want to empower them with more tools, because the one less girl that I can empower with the tools to protect herself, that's one less victim that I have to worry about.
Right.
That was the whole point of the program too.
It
That's
is.
exactly right. Well, and I think that, and combined with the availability of CCWs and your ability to carry outside of the home.
Right.
I mean, honestly, this program would be it would be academic, if people couldn't get their carry permit.
And I agree. And I would say probably statistically, if you look at the number of applicants that have come through the program, I'd say probably 1 in 4 is a victim of domestic violence.
Jeez.
So, and the rest, it's really kind of like what you're talking about, Dave. Like, women just want a resource because they're not like all of us here where I can go talk to Mike, I can talk to Alicia. I've got friends that I can get advice for, like the 1911, right? And so women are just really looking for a place to start. And it's intimidating to walk into a gun store because 9 times out of 10, that person behind the counter is a man, and what they like is going to be completely different than what I potentially like. And they're not going to think about, the fit, the size, like they're not going to kind of talk through those types of things with women. So we want to help women have a better experience with their first purchase, with finding instructors. And, that's really what Not Me is doing, is we're breaking down those barriers to give women an opportunity to own firearms and to start that journey. Because yes, they are intimidating and they're scary, but that fear goes away the more they train, the more they learn about it, and the more comfortable they can feel with someone that's holding their hand through the process.
Right. Remember, this is an expensive program. If a woman comes to us and she has no gun, she has no training, she has no permit, she has nothing, and maybe she just got out of a horrible situation, so money is tight, to say the least. How much money does it take to get somebody a gun, to get them training, to get them a permit? I mean, it's at least
$2,000.
Yeah.
At least $2,000 easy.
To help support the program, go to notmeca.org. Notmeca.org. Make a little donation there. I don't care if it's $10, $100, $500, $5,000.
2 minutes.
Whatever you can do helps a tremendous amount. If we all carry a little cup of water, nobody has to carry a bucket.
That's right. And if I can give $25 to Denny's, you can give $25.
You just gave $25 to Denny's.
I'm going to get you your
not
spaghetti.
to Denny's. Oh,
I'm getting your spaghetti back.
Well, I appreciate that.
And we're going to change the name.
So, for those of you that are listening, again, April is Sexual Assault Awareness, gentlemen. I'm taking
Putting
this
us
back
back on
turn.
track.
Yes. So, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and Not Me is really trying to do our part in giving back to the community with our trainings that we're offering. So, if you have any questions, you want to learn more about any of those trainings, just go to notmesd.org. We can figure it out, or just email me directly, Desiree@notmesd.org.
And Desi, you always do a good job. Every month, you line up this month of training. You put together some kind of nice program for everybody. So thank you for all your hard work. I don't even half the time. I forget who told me. I think it was Discount Gun Mart. I think it was Patrick at Discount Gun Mart.
We love Patrick at Discount
He's
Gun
like,
Mart.
"Oh, by the way, we got your room booked out
1
for
minute.
whatever date and blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Patrick, I have no idea what you're talking about." And he goes, "Oh, just tell Desi. She knows what I'm talking about."
Do you hire out to speak to groups?
So I actually do a lot of speaking engagements. So I've been doing a lot more.
Not me.
Yep. And I recently spoke at the Oceanside Women's Republican.
Well, how do they get a hold of you?
Just email me, Desiree@notmesd.org. I will always take a meeting and speak about what we're doing.
Right.
We are always
I
taking
think
applicants.
it's so important.
I do too. And it's a free program, so it doesn't cost you anything to go through the program. We
Right.
just want to make sure we can empower many women as we can to protect themselves.
And pushy women will come out of that program. They'll walk right up to you and tell you, "Hey, I'm an
I'm
ambassador."
That's a good.
Hey,
good advertisement. Dave.
It's a good advertisement, but she's protecting the program and she really wants to help. So
I was saying it right,
you were, I'm sure you were, but so was she.
but I gave her the floor.
Good.
She may have been armed.
You
never
She
know.
probably
Not in
was
a bar.
actually. No, she probably was.
Yeah, she
I know
probably
who we're
was.
talking about.
Yeah.
She probably was.
She is chill. Hey, Riverside. You too, San Bernardino. Gun grabbers are getting even more desperate. Let's
Hey.
face it, all these laws disarm only the people that would use a gun to defend themselves. Well, fight back and do something to defend your Second Amendment right. Join Inland Empire gun owners right now. We're growing the 2A community and are getting more pro 2A officials elected. Membership is only $10 per month, and joining is real easy. Just go to IEGUNowners.com SDCGO.com/join.
So we're going to do an SB2 update. We were just talking to Desi, and what a fantastic job you are doing. Hey, did you notice that your microphone has a little teal band around it? It's like
I think that's green.
It's like
Yeah.
we plant. Oh, is it?
That's
not?
close.
He tried. Come on, give him a little credit.
I give you an A
You
for
could have
effort.
just said, "Oh, you're so
Could have been
right."
supportive. Could have been supportive.
Well,
The women can see more shades of color. Did you guys know that?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So, all right. SB2, like we were talking about how important it is to the programs, how important it is to people's self-defense they can carry. SB2 tried to completely stop all that, thanks to Governor Newsom, and frankly, the California Democratic Party. They were extremely supportive of this. We're nonpartisan, but man, when they do pass a law and they try to get public policy passed that's so extreme, I think it needs to reflect on their party. And this was a Democratic Party baby. I mean, this wasn't like a couple of extremists in their party. It didn't get bipartisan support. The Republicans were completely against it, and the Democrats were completely for it. SB2 was horrible. So we all know that it was going to basically make it to where you couldn't carry anywhere outside of your home. That was the big thing. Well, we have an injunction on that. We're very happy about that. I think we're going to, win as we go up the the judicial ladder. But it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of money. But there are a couple other things about SB2. There's actually a lot in SB2, a lot. And so I wanted to, at the beginning, we were just kind of spouting off everything. Like, here's all the stuff in SB2. But it doesn't sink in. You don't remember everything. And it hasn't actually happened to you. It hasn't affected you. So it's hard to kind of, really, really look at what's going on. So as things pop up, we want to explain them to you. Now, we did have a victory last week. I don't know if you remember, but back in December, we asked everybody, hey, write the DOJ and give them feedback on their proposed CCW instructor requirements. Remember that? Mm-hmm. And they basically they got rid of the NRA certification is what they did, which I think was a political move. I think that the state of California doesn't like the NRA as an organization, and they decided, well, we'll just remove this. Well, the problem was it made it very, very, very difficult for an instructor to be certified. One of the pathways was this post firearms instructor certification, which stands for Peace Officer Standard Training.
Training, I believe, yeah.
And the only people that get that are people who were in law enforcement.
Essentially, right. Because
it's a requirement, it's a peace officer requirement. So they don't really open it up to civilians. Not that they can't, but it's just they don't. Like, who would do that? If you're not required to be peace officer standard training certified, then why would you do it?
Right.
Well, that was going to wipe out about 2/3 of the instructors in San Diego. But I was slowly getting people to teach that class to civilians, and I think we would have whipped that problem. But thanks to all you activists out there who actually responded and said, hey, California DOJ, this stinks, they came out with the final product, which they're going to jam through, and the final product added back the NRA certification, right?
Yep.
I think, though, if memory serves, I think the only exception is before it was kind of a couple different combinations of NRA certification.
They wanted inside the home.
And now it's everything. It's like 40 hours worth.
They want inside and outside the home NRA.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yep.
It's slightly different, but the important part is it's attainable.
It is. It's very doable. Absolutely.
Are you certified NRA?
I have about 6 NRA certs. Outside the home, NRA specifically outside the home is one I do not have. So that's the only one of what they require that I'll need to get caught up on.
So you got to go get that. And what is that, like 3 days?
No, it's a one day.
It's a 1 day.
It's a 1 day. It's a couple $100 1 day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so attainable.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
good.
It is.
That's good. Which really, truly, I don't know what that means. So really, truly, that is a positive. People are going to get certified. We're not going to lose any instructors. All you got to do is take the time, find an instructor. I know that Dave Reed out in Lemon Grove is going to have we're going to have
Certifications
there. Everybody's like throwing notes at me. I'm trying to so that's good. And then a couple other people. Well, your guy teaches it too, doesn't he? McLaren? Doesn't he?
Yes, he
Bill
does as well.
McLaren?
He did.
Yeah.
Yes, McLaren does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that's really good.
Yep. There's a couple of, and I imagine there's lots of others that do. What it is it was never a requirement before. It was never a requirement before, and it was not one that was popular. So therefore, lots of instructors that could do it just simply weren't because there wasn't a demand. But now that there is a need for it, I'm sure you're going to see lots of them popping up.
Which is good. Which is very good. One of the other things is, I just realized it's supposed to be 5:15, Dave. That's probably who that is.
Poor Dave.
You're correct. That's what I was flashing at you.
And then one of the other things is SB2 has done a couple other things. We talked about it a little bit, but come to find out, if you've ever had a protective order against you for 5 minutes, it doesn't 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. If you have any kind of protective order against you, SB2 prevents you from getting your CCW for 5 years. And you kind of think to yourself, all right, well, if somebody's got a protective order against them, I don't want them to have a gun. That means they've attacked somebody. They've committed some crime. No, that's the problem. If it truly was limited to that, then it wouldn't be a problem. But with these new gun violence restraining orders, which basically just about anybody can accuse just about anybody else, and with very little or really no due process, boom, they get this temporary gun violence restraining order set on them. Even if a judge comes back in later and says, hey, this is completely bogus and never should have happened, you lose your CCW for 5 years.
Right. Those restraining orders are used as a tool oftentimes in divorces or, child custody battles. It's used as a tool to hurt the other.
Oh, right, to hurt the other.
Erroneously.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, that's the important part. I mean, I had somebody call me. His roommate was mad at him for not paying rent on time and got a GVRO against him. An ex-husband lied. Well, soon-to-be ex-husband lied. And he had been caught cheating, and he accused her, his wife at the time, of threatening him with a gun. Well, he'd just been caught cheating. And so he was he was being defensive. He actually later came back and said, hey, you know what? It never happened. I shouldn't have made that statement. And the city attorney, Mara
ignored it.
Well, the city attorney is completely unethical and a predator. She's an absolutely horrible person. And her team said, look, if you retract this statement, then we're going to prosecute you. They didn't just say, hey, you know what, we get it. We're not going to go through with a gun violence restraining order that never should have happened. No, they went through it and threatened the guy who tried to correct the situation. He didn't retract his statement. Yeah, he just said, all right, well, I'm not going to get prosecuted. So she had to go to court. Now, the judge made it right, but she still had this gun violence restraining order on her. She still had to go through $15,000, $20,000. And that's on Mara Elliott's incompetent head that happened. It's completely her fault. She's a horrible person. She's an absolute predator. She's a tyrant, and she needs to be thrown the hell out of office because she's just absolutely that horrible.
I just wish I knew how you felt.
Oh, God, she's
How do you
so
really
horrible.
feel, Mike?
She's so horrible. The other thing about her, I sit down with people and I think, okay, this person and we disagree. It doesn't make them dumb or unintelligent. We just disagree.
Yeah.
We just have a different opinion on what should be happening. Mara Elliott's actually dumb. Like, we don't just disagree. She is an unsmart person. She's an absolute idiot. And it's so frustrating that her handlers have gotten her so far in public office when I wouldn't trust her to bag my groceries. I swear to God. Okay, the other thing SB2 has done, moving on, you can only carry 2 guns at once, right?
Just 2.
Yeah.
So I can't carry appendix, my ankle gun, and my bra holster.
Not according to SB2.
I can only carry 2 or 3.
Just carry 2.
I just ruined my day.
Yeah, they still are allowing you to keep an unlimited number of guns in your permit. Now they only show the first, I believe it's 5.
Yeah.
So they tell you to prioritize the first few that you think you'll actually carry. It's unlimited in the system, but the SB2 you only get to carry 2.
Which you kind of think to yourself. Honestly, the reason I'm putting it out there is it's just kind of a weird, quirky. Like, what does that do? I'm not sure who it affects. I know one person it affects. Our friend who will remain nameless, he is getting he has dozens of firearms that he
2 minutes,
and he was putting them all in a CCW slowly, so that he could transport them back and forth, from the
A to B
from the range, because he would take them all, he'd sort them in a particular way or whatever. He can't do that now, you know. But I don't know. It's more of an interesting thing that popped up. I'm not sure if this is going to, you know, significantly impact anybody's life, but I did want to point it out.
But
It's
what's
arbitrary.
what is the logic?
That's what we're not sure.
Right.
None.
None.
Well, none of this has any logic, Dave.
No.
There's no logic. The SB2 was not an attempt to make us safer. SB2 wasn't an attempt to lower
Just make
crime
it,
statistics.
Make it more complicated.
SB2 was intended to punish gun owners. And he wasn't even that. You don't even have to read between the lines. It's pretty much what the governor said. It was a result of losing philosophically in an abortion case out in Texas. So he decided and stated
Hard break,
that he
1
was
minute.
gonna take it out on gun owners, which resulted in SB2. Like this isn't conjecture. Like I'm not putting putting the dots. It's pretty much what he said. So there's no logic. There's no reason. It's just ridiculous.
Is there
But
ever
anyway.
any logic with Governor Newsom?
None.
None.
So that's
None.
SB2. That's SB2, and we got to slowly dismantle it. It's going to be case by case. Gary Gibson and Colin Rudolph are both working on the part where you lose your permit for 5 years, and we're going to have some updates on that. But for the most part, stop the press. SB2 stinks. I know everybody's surprised.
Hey, if you're a gun owner and if you ever need to use your gun to protect yourself or your loved one, you need legal protection. Even if you do everything right, even if you're 100% justified, you should be prepared for the legal battle after your self-defense battle. That's why you need firearms legal protection. When you join, you get uncapped legal protection for self-defense for civil or criminal cases with a 24/7 hotline. Joining is real easy. Just go to firearmslegal.com and click on Become a Member. Use code GOR for a discount. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing that you are protected. If you are even or ever involved in a self-defense incident, firearmslegal.com and use discount code GOR.
All right, subscribe and win. Subscribe to our email list and win some swag. All you got to do is go to gunownersradio.com. Sign up for our weekly email. My understanding is our next email is going to have a spaghetti survey on it, so please help us bring back Denny's spaghetti. But in the meantime, and going forward even after that, we're going to be talking about guns. Cool. How about that? Okay, so this week's winner is...
You're not getting a drum roll.
Robert Stockham, Stockham. Robert, congratulations. You won some cool swag. All you got to do is email prizes@gunownersradio.com to claim your T-shirt or hat. My suggestion would be to put your size. That will almost guarantee success. All right, so National Red Flag Operation. So we're actually just talking about gun violence restraining orders. And we want to talk about what's wrong with the red flag law, and it's a little bit more complicated, I think, than people realize. Red flag laws were intended to be some kind of process or procedure that was in place when there was a lack of law, when somebody was doing something threatening or dangerous, but it wasn't, there was no law that applied, but clearly this person is planning on doing something. There's actually a lot of law that covers it. Part of the problem is, that when there is some kind of mass murder at a school and the guy decides to use a gun or a movie theater or one of these headline murders, they look and they say, "Hey, look at the 47 things that happened before this person exploded and did something illegal. Look at the 47 things that happened. Look at how many times he was touched by law enforcement. Look at all the things he said or did. So clearly we could have prevented this because we saw all these red flags. And both sides agreed, hey, there were a ton of red flags here, I don't think there was enough discussion, though, on the fact that there were laws that could have addressed these red flags that weren't enforced. So making another law that isn't going to be enforced isn't going to help the situation. But they came up with these gun violence restraining orders. And even the gun violence restraining orders, when they first came out, we thought, okay, well, I get what you're trying to accomplish here, because what they were initially trying to accomplish was, hey, what if somebody has some kind of mental issue? Grandpa is a big gun owner, and Grandpa is starting to say things that are kind of goofy because he's getting older. It was basically presented as some kind of option, some kind of avenue to help a person in that situation, and it's hard to argue. Like, all right, well, yeah, maybe they do need some help. When it comes to public policy and government, maybe there does need to be some help and offer some avenues there. I don't know. It's at least worth the conversation. Well, the problem is these gun violence restraining orders were shoved through under a false premise, and now they're being completely and totally abused, mostly by the city attorney in San Diego, Mari Elliott, who have already expressed my deep concern for her inability to do her job. But she's been going around. Her office went around and said, hey, use these things as a standard operating procedure. Basically, don't just use it when there's the need for a red flag, but use these anytime a gun is involved. So it was definitely a stretch when it comes to due process. And I think a lot of people kind of said, all right, let's see how this goes. And then a lot of people abused it. A lot of people are abusing it. Mainly led by Mara Elliott again. But doing this nationally, and it's always a problem. It's like, well, gee, why don't we just try it and see how it works? Let's put this red flag law into place and see how it works. Well, then we'll evaluate it and see how it works. Okay, well, the evaluations are in. It's abused. It doesn't work, quote unquote. And by the way, what is your definition of works? Because if you mean, we found a new public policy that'll help us, abuse power and help people, use it predatorily, and vindictively, then yeah, it sure does. It works. It certainly screws everything up. So, but that's not the definition. It's not the kind of works that we want. This isn't preventing crime. It's not helping law enforcement. It certainly isn't protecting gun owners. And for the idea that a national red flag operation, a national red flag law, which really what they're talking about are gun violence restraining orders on a national level, no way. Forget it. There's no way that there's no universe, there's no explanation that can show or that would represent these as being successful. And that's, people wonder why. Well, why do you guys fight new laws? How come you can't compromise? Well, gun owners have been compromising since the 1930s. And
it drives me crazy. They'll do that, and then you ask them and say, well, let's just see how it works out.
Right.
Well, that's like saying, I'm going to open you up and take this out, and let's see if it cures cancer.
Well, and then when they find out it doesn't work,
well, then they just leave it there.
Or they either leave it there or they're expanding it nationally.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, wait a minute. I thought you said we were going to see how this works. It doesn't work.
Well, yeah, but it didn't work in California. Let's see if it works in all 50 states.
Yeah. And if you talk to people, idiots like Mara Elliott, she's written articles on how well it works. Look at how many guns we've taken away from people.
But she doesn't. That's not factual.
It's factual that they've taken a bunch of guns away from people.
Well, yeah, but not.
But they didn't need a gun violence restraining order to do
that's
that.
my
Number
point.
one, and number two, the ones there is a percentage that she has either issued or that she has been influential in issuing that have severely abused people. And she doesn't care about that.
Oh, no, she doesn't care.
There's no analysis. She's not coming out with some analysis that says, hey, you know what? Here's 9 cases where it worked really, really
2
well.
minutes.
Here's 1 case where it didn't work at all. And that's how you know that, number one, she's incompetent. Number two, it's a political agenda. It's not a public safety agenda. Had she really come out and said, hey, gosh, got to tell you, it doesn't work in every situation. Here's some ways we can improve it.
They never do that.
They never do that. It's just, here's how we want to expand our massive cancerous mistake.
I'm sorry is not in their vocabulary. Or let's be logical and say, okay, well, that didn't work. We really want to take care of the problem, so let's try another way. Let's go a different direction. Let's eliminate that. And
well,
I don't know.
She's an idiot.
That's why you're doing what you're doing.
That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. She's actually about to get termed out, and her.
Then where's she going?
Well, I tell you where I think she should go, but
I'll show her the way.
But the problem is the 2 people that are looking to replace her are just as bad. This guy named Manshine who's kind of he actually used to be a Republican.
Yeah, didn't he used to be?
He used to be a Republican, and then he decided he wasn't getting enough attention, and he
was he on city council or something?
Yeah, and he switched to the Democratic Party. He was in the Assembly, and he switched all his views. I don't really get that. I get like when you see somebody nationally, like who's the lady, Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah,
like she hasn't really changed her fundamentals,
right?
But she's definitely changed, which party she sides with.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. Or maybe if some of her views have evolved, but when a guy like Manshine or Nathan Fletcher or some of these other idiots, they switch parties and immediately every one of their viewpoints changes. Come on, you're just a sociopath.
Fletcher's not coming back, is he?
I hope not. For
heaven forbid.
They'd vote for him. I'll tell you one thing: you'd find voters.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. Hey, Not Me is for women, by women, and is designed to help women with training, purchasing a gun, and getting a concealed carry permit. And guess what? It's totally free.
Yeah, it is.
And if you're a woman or you know a woman who needs help, have her sign up, and we will give her all the help she needs. To sign up, it's real easy. Just go to notmesd.org, notmesd.org.
So we've had this guy on before, and he is absolutely wonderful. He is knocking the cover off the ball when it comes to Second Amendment lawsuits, and he's doing some of the, the down and dirty nitty gritty work, and he's not out there promoting himself. He's out there winning cases, and I think he needs a lot more of our love and attention. So he just won a case, and I wanted to bring him on to talk about it. Alan Beck, how are you, my friend?
Well, how are you?
Good.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter. Thanks for coming on to our Easter special show. So you have a little Easter egg present for us. You just had a real positive decision and won another case, right?
Yes, that's correct. I sued the county of Hawaii, which is known as the Big Island, on behalf of a CCW applicant that had his CCW denied because he was engaged in a self-defense incident. Basically, a person attacked him, and he fired a pepper ball gun to defend himself. The police detained both of them and agreed it was self-defense. So it was actually a giant misunderstanding on both of the parts. My client's a foreclosure agent, and he was sent over to a place to maintain a property, and the person who was being foreclosed on showed up. And that's what was caused the incident. And so, he applied for a CCW because of this incident. He realized, geez, I've got a pretty dangerous job. I might need something more than a pepper ball. And he was denied for what was undisputed, a self-defense incident. And, that's a little bit that's pretty outlandish that a person can engage in lawful self-defense, lawful non-lethal self-defense, and be denied his Second Amendment rights due to it. And so he came to me, and, I agreed to bring a lawsuit on his behalf, challenging both his individual denial and the county of Hawaii's policies that allowed the chief to have the authority to deny him based upon lawful self-defense.
So that's the big question I think a lot of people would ask. And if you could take a couple minutes to explain, the idea is we had this Bruin case. So why was this police chief able and allowed to do this after Bruin, or is it a matter of, hey, anybody can do anything, and as long as they can defend it in court?
Well, I mean, that's basically what you're seeing all across the country is various cities think that, okay, now we have to go shall issue, but we still want to have authority to deny people we think aren't suitable to carry. And a lot of police chiefs think they still have the right to just say, hey, I don't like the looks of this guy. I want to deny him the Second Amendment rights. And, there's that's very clearly contrary to Brood. Brood didn't directly deal with moral character requirements, but it's very obvious that Brood was said you can't just simply give a government official just carte blanche authority to deny someone without any type of arrest, restraining order, anything like that, and just basically based upon his discretion, somebody is unsafe. And there's actually a part in Brood. It's footnote 9 of the opinion that talks about giving government officials too much discretion, how that would be unconstitutional. Now, unfortunately, since the issue before Brood was not the discretion of a official, it didn't give us a test on how much discretion is too much. And so that's the issue that's being litigated all across the country right now. I have a case in D.C. There's the Antonyuk case, which deals with the sensitive places location. It additionally dealt with how much discretion is allowed. There's also the SOAR opinion that's going up from the Second Circuit. So, I mean, right now we know that complete discretion is unconstitutional, but we do know there's a certain amount of discretion that can be given to a government official. We just don't know how much pursuant to Brood. So, that's an actively litigated issue right now.
And what was the actual? If you don't, how much detail are you able to go into as far as what was the actual written reason the police chief in Hawaii gave for denying the CCW or sheriff, police chief? I'm not sure which, but this law enforcement officer who denied it. What was the actual reason? Like, what was the reason they gave?
I don't remember what it is verbatim. It's not because but it essentially said my client had a history of violence, and then they cited the section where they're allowed to deny people the history of violence. But again, the only violent encounter he's had is while on the job, engaged in self-defense.
Yeah,
and they admitted that's the reason they denied him was because of this one incident where he used a pepper ball in self-defense.
So it was lawful violence to defend himself, and that therefore he has a history of violence. So we're not going to give him a CCW. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's the chief just basically thought that he had complete discretion, and we had to file a lawsuit. We filed a preliminary injunction and complaint. And, it says right in the chief's rules that he's got complete discretion to deny a person he thinks is dangerous. And, that's just not, in this country, we just, in all sorts of areas of law, we have a rule that, you don't just give one person complete discretion to decide whether someone can exercise a constitutional right. And, thankfully we got something called a stipulated judgment. That's it's like a consent decree, and that's where the other side realized they're going to lose this lawsuit. So they go with us to the judge and say, "Judge, just put an order that we can't do this anymore. We don't want to run off the bill. So, and we know we're going to lose this." And so my client is quite happy that he's going to be, he's got a CCW permit, and they've, as part of the court order, they're not allowed to revoke it. We were a little afraid that they might do something underhanded afterwards.
Yeah.
And in addition, the court order requires them to rewrite their CCW issuance policies, so that the chief doesn't have this type of discretion anymore.
And this is a police chief, not a sheriff?
That's correct.
Wow, that's interesting.
We don't really have sheriffs in Hawaii. In Hawaii, the sheriffs just work for the state. So all CCW is done by the chief of police.
It's interesting. I went to the first time I ever squeezed the trigger was in Hawaii. There were a lot of gun folks in Hawaii, but the gun laws have always been pretty horrible. They've kind of mirrored California.
I've got a little bit bigger news that just on my Second Amendment work. That's pretty much what happened in the case. We filed the case, we filed a preliminary injunction, and now they're rewriting the rules. In SB 2 in California, deals with a lot of the census of places, and on the 11th, I'll be arguing the Hawaii case that deals with Hawaii's version of SB 2 at the Ninth Circuit.
Interesting.
So that's
how similar are the two?
It's almost identical.
Wow.
What happened is the anti-gun groups essentially wrote a template law so that, and they got adopted by the various states that decided to put in these sensitive places laws.
Interesting.
So, and since my case was first, the Hawaii case, Wolford v. Lopez, is going to set the precedent for the California cases. But the California cases will be argued after mine on the same day.
Good. Well, that's awesome. I'm looking for so what? Well, it'll still take a little while to get a decision, but what day are you doing the actual arguments?
2 minutes.
April 11th.
April 11th. How do people find out more about you, Alan? Is there a way you got a website or something that people can read up or?
I just got that Facebook. Attorney Alan Beck. So look me up there.
Attorney Alan Beck. Again, another example.
Yeah.
Not in this for the recognition, in this for the cause. And I'm really, really just so impressed by all your work, and I'm so thankful that you're doing everything that you're doing. You're working so hard. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for having me on, Mike.
Yeah, you bet. And good luck in your case. And we'll have you back on to hear about your victory.
Oh, well, that's great. Well, once again, happy Easter, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Cool, man. Thanks.
Thanks, Alan.
Sounds great, buddy. Hey, do you belong to an
Yes.
association?
Oh.
I'm sure you do.
I do.
Maybe.
A club, or maybe a member-based organization with a bad website. Looks old, hard to use, just doesn't help you grow help your group grow. Well, maybe you didn't know about Sage Tree. They specialize in helping member-based organizations. They helped SDCGO get on the map.
Yeah, they did.
And they have also helped other organizations like the YMCA, National City Chamber of Commerce, and a whole lot more. They can help you with your website, membership dues, emails, and social media. Leave frustration behind and call Sage Tree today. Getting started is real easy. Just visit sagetree.com and click on the Schedule an Appointment button at sagetree.com and click on that Schedule an Appointment button now.
So what did you think of that about Alan and that case that Alan Beck was talking about?
I'm honestly shocked that it even got as far as it did. Like you said,
No,
a lawful
you're
use.
not.
Well, okay, I guess given the climate in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Anywhere.
It's really humid.
It is a little
It
sticky.
is, it's
Tropical.
It's a little wet tropical.
sticky. A little
But you're right. A lawful use of self-defense,
Yeah.
non-lethal.
Yeah.
How does that rise to the level of where it got to?
And some unelected jerk out there decided he wasn't allowed to have his permit.
It was Mara's sister or brother.
I wonder who it was.
Bet it was. Bet they're related.
I don't know. Why would they be related?
Because they're both.
Why would she be related to the police chief in Hawaii?
Because he's an idiot.
And
There's
how
a
you feel about
plethora.
her.
There's a
That is
plethora of idiots.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy, he wasn't elected. He's not a sheriff. He was appointed.
Yeah.
And he, for some reason, thinks that he has the authority to keep somebody from
Isn't it?
defending themselves. I mean, what a jerk.
I know.
Well, I'm thankful that this guy that was denied didn't just bow down and okay, he fought back, and that takes some time and some effort and some guts to stand up for yourself and do that.
And money.
And
Yeah.
money. It takes
And
time
money.
and money. I mean, that's the I tell people, if you have an idea for a lawsuit, let me know. And then also let me know if you have 10 years and $500,000.
That's it.
That's
or
it?
$1 million, really.
$1 million. I thought it was $1 million.
So let me know, but the first couple of sentences in your email before you suggest, like a lawsuit should be, letting me know you have 10 years to put behind this effort
And $1 million.
and $1 million and how you're going to get that $1 million to us.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are so many lawsuits. There's if we had the money, if we had $50 million right now, that we'd file 50 lawsuits. There's so many lawsuits that need to happen.
But the funny thing is, they wouldn't get done any quicker.
No.
But, well, no, it'd all be 10 years from right now. You know,
Right. If I think you're being conservative. At
I
10 years.
prefer libertarian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
We're all
know. I don't know.
vegans,
10
though.
years. I mean, look at our cases. The Miller case is still going after how many years? All these lawsuits take years, and there are actually it's not unusual. What Alan did in Hawaii with that police chief is very important. There are a lot of sheriffs and some police chiefs in California that basically did the same thing. They said, "Oh, okay, well." Yeah, then you're going to get your permit, you're going to get your permit, you're going to get your permit, unless, I don't think you should have your permit. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Why do you get to say, well, we still need to retain some discretion? And it's not true. And what they'll do is they'll say, all right, well, they'll describe a situation, they'll describe a policy that's based on subjectivity, and then they'll use the word objective when describing it. I'm like, wait a minute. It doesn't make it objective just to put the word objective in the description. It actually has to be objective. Otherwise, it's subjective. And they've retained way too much power, which we're going to have to knock all that down.
That's the problem.
But Alan's doing a great job. Just the fact that he doesn't have a website or a YouTube channel or something.
Just word
like,
of mouth.
hey, man, how do people find out more about you? He's like, I don't know. I got this Facebook page. I mean, this is truly somebody that needs to be supported and protected.
Or he needs help.
Actually, there is a fundraiser. Oh, I'm kicking myself now. There is a fundraiser for him going on that I'm thinking about, and I'll bet you the guy. Hey, if you're the guy who's doing the fundraiser, if you're listening right now, if you text in the information on your fundraiser for Alan, I'm so embarrassed that I didn't bring that in. I should have thought of that. Sometimes I don't connect the dots till we're on the air, dude. That's when I do my best thinking.
Yes, you do.
When we're on the air. Anyway, all right. Desi, how did that Q&A session go at 4 p.m.? Was that a good segment?
I think it was a great segment. I think we probably have more questions to talk about, right?
Honestly, we do. We have a whole lot. I don't want to do them right now, but I want to continue to, at 4 o'clock, have that Q&A session because a lot of the same questions come up over and over and over.
And they get
again.
CC'd to both you and I, so we see them all the time.
We do see them all the time, so, But I think that the ones we started out with was a good start.
Good icebreaker.
Exactly right. So what else is going on with Not Me? Tell us the story. I want to hear some more stories about some of the people that you work with. What's another good success story?
Mike wants you to tell him a story.
Tell me a story.
Do you want me to tell him
Tell him a story.
That'd be nice.
He'll be asleep in, 5 minutes?
Well, why don't we talk a little bit more about Kenesha, one of our
Okay.
original stories.
Okay.
So to recap the story,
Continuing to work with her.
right. So Kenesha came to us, what was that, back in 2020? That was was it 2021 maybe?
Yeah, it was pretty early on.
Yeah. So I had an individual reach out to us, and this is actually one of my first original KUSI interviews. Actually, during the height of COVID, she saw me on KUSI and reached out and was like, "Look, like I was a victim of domestic violence, and her then ex-boyfriend had actually shot her twice in the head." If you remember the story,
Yep.
And so she was supposed to be a quadriplegic, and she had multiple surgeries, was in and out of the hospital for months, and beat it. Right? Like she's doing perfectly fine. And so, yeah. And she went to a shooting social a couple years ago where she met Mike and myself for the first time.
Yep.
And she came for the first time. And Mike, you actually trained her.
Yep.
And I just remember we had her go into the range ahead of time before we started the shooting social because we wanted her to hear gunfire. And to me, when you're a victim of a gunshot, like it would scare you.
That's
And
probably the last time she heard gunshots.
exactly. And so that's why we wanted her to be comfortable on the range first. So we let her work with Mike before we sent everybody else in there. And she was doing great.
She's great.
I just remember watching her and she was like dancing on the range because she was like bullseyeing her shots and she was just having so much fun. And I loved seeing that. And
She came prepared too.
Yep.
She knew the safety rules.
Yep.
She knew the terms for the guns,
Yep.
Well, she was trained by you.
the parts. No. Like she came to me,
Yeah.
knowing all the rules. And I'm like, yeah, all right. She really did her homework. She knew like the names of the different gun parts, and she knew the 4 safety rules, and it was really impressive. She did such a good
Well,
job.
it's just amazing she gets shot twice in the head and just
right
comes.
here.
Yeah, she showed us
Yeah.
her wounds.
Yeah. So after the shooting
It's the
social,
neck.
well, right, it was right like in this area,
base
right
of the
here.
skull,
Yeah,
yeah.
the skull
When
area.
I say
yeah.
head, I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, on the skull area. So after the shooting social, she comes over to Mike and myself, and she actually was showing us her scars. And, you could just hear the gratitude. I just remember this, like, from her, like, thank you guys so much for what you're doing. Thank you for, empowering me with this. And, it's the whole reason why Not Me exists is for, women like her. And so after that, we helped get her a Glock, right? Because we wanted to help. And then she did a little bit of training. And then it's kind of like what we see sometimes where people just kind of fall off, right?
I was
like
gonna say, have you seen her since?
Oh,
we
yeah.
haven't really seen her since then.
I get text from her. Hope all is well. I just read the email you sent out regarding my story.
Right.
I was in tears. If you need me for anything, I'm here. Just let me know. But she's done a couple things with us. But anyway, keep going.
She's done a couple things for us, right? Like she did a video for us that we use a little bit for promoting Not Me. And so we hadn't heard from her in a little bit. And then we sent out her story for Not Me CA. And that's when she reached out to Mike. And then I spoke to her a couple weeks ago. And so we're really trying to get her back in the swing of things and training. She signed up for a training actually at Discount Gun Mart in April. So we're trying to get her back into training and, continuing through her process with getting her CCW.
Yep. Such a great lady.
Yeah, she's a total sweetheart. And she's actually going to be taking her home defense class too, which is really cool.
Oh, is she? She's coming to that?
Yep. I'm trying to
I
get
think
into
she
her
sent me a message on that.
mini trainings as we can. So she's going to bring her daughter to the home defense training with Alicia next month. So definitely see her, and she's one of the original success stories that we've had come from Not Me because of all of the work that we've done. But to Mike's point, it is expensive to sponsor someone through this program and, training, firearms. And, we definitely do have some sponsors that like to donate firearms to the program, which will go unnamed, but it's still expensive.
It is. But we're making our way through. So again, go to notmeca.org, which, by the way, there's been no donations since we asked for last. So if you guys could please, $10, go to notmeca.org. That would certainly help us out. Speaking of fundraising, for Alan Beck, there is a fundraiser coming up, and Alicia found.
I did find the
What'd you
info.
find?
So there was a fundraiser event. It actually happened yesterday. So the event has passed. However, you can still donate. What it is the donations are going towards the cost of his appealing the baton. The ban on batons. So he was fighting the butterfly knives, the batons, and he's putting the fight for these tools, and he's and it is a fundraiser. So you can actually donate to Freedom Fighters Foundation, and that money, you indicate that you want it to be for him, and that is how you can donate to Beck to help support him in his fight for the baton.
Batons. That's like, the girl at the front of the line when they're doing the marching band.
Oh, yeah.
She's throwing the thing up in the air. And Isn't that a baton?
I like those.
That is.
Yeah. We want to make sure those
flame.
We want to make sure those stay illegal,
Yeah.
Dave. We're big fans of marching bands. No, we're talking about the police batons that are for some reason illegal. It's like two pieces of wood stuck together, and somehow they're illegal, which is absolutely
But a
ridiculous.
baseball bat's okay.
Right.
Yeah, well, as long as you have a glove and a
A
ball.
ball with it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had a baseball bat in your glove box or in your trunk, I bet they wouldn't. That would be illegal.
That's categorized. That's right up there with firearms and pocket knives.
I was told by an attorney once that if you do that, if you keep
Put a glove in there.
Yeah, put a glove and a ball in there. Dave's looking at me.
No, I believe you.
Yeah.
I just got to go buy a glove and
You
a ball.
gotta go. Dave's got like 47 bats back there.
I got my dad's baton.
Do you really?
No, they'd arrest me immediately.
Don't say that on the air, Dave.
No, I'm only kidding.
Oh, okay.
This was back when police could actually carry those.
Yeah.
My dad had one too back in the day.
Yeah.
Mom still has it.
Yeah.
Well, it's legal now.
You can crack,
They were illegal
You
for
can
a while.
crack walnuts with it. That's what it's for.
Walnut cracking?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
I mean,
know
it
that.
probably cracked a lot more than that back in the day.
All right, so we're gonna have you gonna read the question for Sam in the next segment.
I will read the question for Sam in the next segment. Doesn't the in-studio guest always get to do that?
Usually, always.
Usually.
Yeah.
I'm reading through this question.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get all of it, but I think he's definitely because this question has lots of little. There's a history and there's a change. If you take a look at the question, the
We'll have
answer.
to- we'll all vote.
Give
I'm
it
not
to
going to.
him
I'm not
ahead
going to
of
give it to him.
time.
Oh, I'm not. But I think he's definitely going to get at least 2/3 of it.
We'll vote to see if he
We
the
said
answer
that
is-
last time and he got it.
No, he
guessed
didn't.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
remember
we
the
did.
gun?
Yeah,
It was-
he
we
didn't
did.
know that he got it, but he got it.
Yeah,
He
but
just threw some
never
at the wall and it
knows.
stuck.
He never knows, but
Yeah.
he always gets it.
Yeah, but that was like a heck of a. I mean, he guessed which firearm
Yeah.
they snuck aboard an
He
Apollo mission.
always guesses and he wins.
And he had no knowledge. He was just.
I would-
He was going through the Rolodex in his mind of what
I
would
was-
have made
What
sense.
would I take?
So I would argue that he didn't guess; he deduced.
Yes,
Big
exactly.
difference.
You're right. You're
He
right.
deduced. He deduced it.
They're goosed. Okay, I think we're getting deep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
What else are we going to talk about? We got like 38 seconds here. Dave,
38 seconds. Well,
what do you think, man? Current state of affairs when it comes to Second Amendment.
vote, vote, vote.
Early and often.
Early and often.
I had a little. I was riding up an elevator, and this little boy, I think he was about 3, I don't know, and he said, "I'm getting potty trained." I said, "Congratulations!"
You say you
I said,
too?
"That's something they can never take away from you." And I said,
Definitely.
"Listen, there are 3 important points when it comes to being potty trained: location, location, location."
That's right.
Mom laughed. He didn't. He just told me
He
again
didn't
he was
get
getting
it.
potty trained.
In fact, it's funny you say that because I just see it on Facebook. It's a little ladder.
Yeah.
You put it on the edge of the toilet, and it flips down, and you can walk up the stairs.
I need that.
Turn around, thunk.
Turn around.
Well, if you have to sit.
Oh.
But you can shoot straight, too. It is pretty cool.
I'd like that.
Somebody made that. It's
Give
gonna
him a
make it-
target.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've seen those, too. Hey, if you want gear at an affordable price, check out Condor Outdoors. Condor's mission is to provide you with the highest quality tactical gear to help you tackle any adventure with confidence. Whether you're a military professional, a law enforcement officer, or simply an avid outdoorsman, Condor products are designed to be versatile, durable, and above all, reliable. So if you're looking for the best tactical gear, look no further than Condor. Use discount code GOR for discounts off their website. That's condoroutdoor.com. Use GOR code for a 15% discount.
Hey, I just got notification that the fundraiser for Alan Beck was actually supposed to be last night, but because of the rain, they postponed it. So you have one more week to sign up. If you go to Freedom Fighters Foundation, they're right here in San Diego. You can sign up or you can email them for more information on that. But, this is something that I think, first off, it's low-light training, which I think is extremely important and interesting. But second, it's for a good thing. Alan is doing all the hard work, man, and all he's asking for is, a couple of bucks to buy a sandwich and, pay for his rent. So, he's not getting rich off this, but he is doing important and good work. So please help support him. Freedom Fighters Foundation, that is. Okay, time for everybody's favorite segment, Stump My Nephew. We found out years ago that my nephew is particularly good at gun trivia. So if you email us a question and we use it on the air, you'll get a hat or a shirt. And if you stump my nephew, we'll give you something, a special prize, which I think is probably right now. I think it's going to be 2 tickets to Gun Prom, which is October 12th, which we haven't even announced yet. All right. So with that, Sam, how you doing, man?
Not bad. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. Okay. Desi's going to do your question. You know Desi, don't you?
Hi, Sam.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Not bad.
All right. You ready for the question?
Sure, let's have it.
So Tom Bradford from San Jose asked, what is unique about the Remington M1867? What caliber was it in?
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. Remington M1867.
Remington M1867. Gosh.
Ooh, did we stump?
Uh-oh.
Did we stump him?
No, he's just
warming up.
His computer's cranking.
No, my hamster wheel is not spinning.
Oh, no.
What?
We stumped him.
We
I
stumped
can't
Sam.
even begin to answer
I can't
that.
honestly. I can't even
Wow.
give you like a hint. This is such a complicated, but good question, Todd. It looks like you might have a couple of tickets to Gun Prom for this one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
any
you
guesses?
got me.
Anything? You get nothing? You want us to just read the answer?
I can just read you
Nope,
the
I
answer.
got nothing.
All right.
All right. So in the spring of 1867, following the Danish order of 20,000 new M1867 Danish Remington rifles, Norway and
Danish.
Sweden joint commission recommended adoption of the new Remington pattern rolling block metallic cartridge rifle. Denmark also adopted the Remington's M1867 rifle, but in a slightly smaller caliber, 11.7 millimeter, opposed to a Norway-Sweden order in the 12.17 millimeter. Thus, the Danish rifle wound up being noticeably smaller overall and clearly distinct from the Swedish or Norwegian rifles. Also, the more common caliber that they became chambered in was 11.35 times 51R. It is said that you can also use Springfield trapdoor 4570 loads in the rifle, as they are almost identical to the 1135 times 51R.
Did you know all that?
There you go.
Was that
I
on the
did
tip of your tongue?
No, I couldn't even begin to have. I couldn't even have begun to answer that.
We thought you could get 2/3 of it correct.
Yeah.
That's what Alicia's bet was on. But we stumped him.
We just know how much you like Danish.
Well, it doesn't happen very often, so it's not like
Danish.
Wow.
Swedish and Norwegian rifles. That's pretty interesting, man. How much do you know about Norway's army? What are they using these days?
These days, they are using, I believe, HK-416s.
Oh, wow,
that
fancy.
Isn't that wasn't what the question refers to? Remington rolling block rifles. That isn't the last time Scandinavian countries have standardized, or have tried to standardize on common ammunition. Some listeners may be more familiar with the Krag Jorgensen, which was a U.S. Army service rifle in the late 19th century. And it was used in, Norway and Denmark. And at the time, Norway and Sweden were both using 6.5 millimeter Swede, as we call it now, service ammunition. Sweden used Mausers, Norway used Krag Jorgensens, but they both were chambered in 6.5.
Nice. Look at that. No matter what, even if he doesn't know something, he knows something. Right?
Absolutely.
Sounds like it.
He
Did
knows
you know-
lots of somethings.
Did you know something else interesting about Norway's military is they actually have giant barcodes on all their ships, all their Navy ships. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Barcodes
Barcodes.
on the hull.
Well, enormous barcodes on the hull.
Really?
That way, when the ships come back into port, they can Scandinavian. Huh?
Sam, that's your uncle. I just told that. So
He's used
you
to
have
it.
to claim him. We don't.
You
It
get
made
it?
ri- it
Hey,
made
ladies
Rich-
and
it made
gentlemen,
Rich
thanks
laugh.
for listening. That's all we have.
Isn't that the truth?
All right. Do you have an article that you wrote that you want to promote?
My most recent blog post was a book review.
I liked your book
I
report
remember
a
that
lot.
one.
It
Yep.
was good.
It was, and the book I reviewed, which is called Understanding Firearm Ballistics, is interesting not just in its subject matter. Of course, the subject matter is interesting, but I think books like that are important because there's this gap. There's this knowledge gap. A lot of us in the gun world develop our understanding of the scientific principles behind why all this stuff is working kind of through experience and through like half understood explanations passed down third hand that kind of stray a little bit away from the actual scientific reality. But engineering and physics textbooks written at a collegiate level tend to be somewhat difficult to understand for people who don't already have a background in the subject matter. So the book I reviewed, Understanding Firearm Ballistics, helps to bridge that gap. It isn't perfect, as I talk about in the review. It does have a few issues, but I think that it is an important book, and it is an important type of book to exist for us.
That's awesome. I have a few issues myself, so I totally understand.
Just a few.
Well, don't we all?
Awesome job, Sam. Very, very cool. And I'm assuming you did you just celebrate Passover? Is that where are we at in that schedule?
Nope, that has not arrived yet. That's coming up soon.
Passover has not arrived. All right. Okay. Well, when you do, enjoy. And what is the relationship between Easter and Passover? I thought Easter happened at the end of Passover. Or am I thinking, is that Fat Tuesday and Mardi Gras? I might be confusing those two.
I'm not aware of any relationship in terms of the dates.
I thought there was a relationship. All right. Well, anyway, enjoy Passover. Thank you for your knowledge as always. Awesome job. And we will talk to you next week. And we will, again, try to stump you. And congratulations to Todd Bradford from San Jose. Todd, you're going to have to fly down and come to Gun Prom with us now, my friend.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
give the tickets away.
Or don't give the tickets away. Fly down and come down. It'll be fun. Let us know if you're how you want us to get you those tickets. Email us, and thank you so much for writing in. Cool, man. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Happy Easter to those who observe.
Happy Easter.
Thank you for your expertise and all your hard work with Not Me, Desi.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for letting me have this part.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
I always love coming in and hanging out with my my family here.
Yeah. Now we're going to get you a Lexus.
That's
Are we?
Absolutely. Look at that look. That look isn't going to go away anytime.
Are you getting a
soon.
Lexus? Really?
Not until next year.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
right.
have financial
Okay,
priorities.
let's put money on the table.
What are we betting on?
She'll have it by August.
I'll put
Well,
I'll
let's
put
see.
$100 down.
What's
She
gonna-
will not have it by August.
What are we gonna have? We're gonna have the car or the spaghetti back? What's gonna be first?
Yeah.
Well, he can't
Same.
figure out how to download it, so it's probably never coming back.
Probably not.
I can't even tell. I'm going to find out who started that, and I'm just going to reach out to them and just touch their heart.
Yeah, just going to
Say
going to
thanks, man.
Denny's, and I'm not leaving until I get my spaghetti.
I got to tell you, I feel justified.
Did you not? Somebody must have been listening. They started a
Good enough.
they got over 1,000 people. That
I
are
was not
running
the
it.
only person who was like, damn, this is amazing.
And we all thought you were.
Spaghetti. I know, and I'm clearly not. Which means it's good spaghetti, Dave.
In
Dave.
fact, I'm gonna go try it. As soon
What's
as it
your
comes
favorite
back.
spaghetti? We still got to go to Sauce down in PB.
You keep saying that.
Yeah, it's
and we
really
still
good.
got to go to the watch shop up on University Avenue.
Don't take him to a watch shop. You
I
should
want
know
to.
why, so you can see him like a kid in a candy shop.
Oh, it's so much
Don't
fun.
be an enabler, Dave.
It's
Yeah,
up on
don't
University.
enable
Look,
him.
his face gets all
Do
lit
not
up.
enable him.
And you and I are going to go to lunch at Escondido, Lexus.
Okay. I like that restaurant. That's a fancy restaurant up
Yeah,
there.
it is. It's got cars.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. I've
I
been
know.
there.
I know.
All right, well,
See?
cool.
Oh no, you're thinking of Lexus of Escondido. Well, that's right. That's where that is.
Yeah.
I know the owner real well. Vivantani's or Vitani's.
Sounds like you know him real well.
It's an Italian restaurant, right?
Mhm. That's delicious. Expensive though.
so there
I've
we go.
never eaten there. Is it good?
It's good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Interesting. Well, that was awful nice to talk about.
I thought so. All right, we'll see everybody next week.
Not
This
if
was
we
an
don't
awesome
see you
show.
first.
Oh, come on. Why would you say that?
Because we may see each
It's
other.
hurtful. It's just hurtful.
Oh, really?
What are you driving this week, by the way?
Well, I stepped down from a Rolls Royce,
Yeah.
which was over $500,000, to a $112,000 Genesis.
Genesis are nice.
They're very nice.
Genesises?
Genesis.
Genocide?
Genocide.
I think
know.
multiple Genesis.
Genesis.
Genocide.
It could be
Genocide.
genocide. Oh man, that's terrible.
Genocide.
But it's interesting, you know. Hey, you could touch the brake pedal on the rolls and it will shut the door automatically.
yeah.
This one will do it too.
Oh.
And it's
My
got
understanding is
Fancy.
a Genesis is to Hyundai as like
Link
Lexus is to
Toyota.
Toyota, right?
Correct.
That's like their fancy line.
Exactly, and they did, they did a phenomenal job on the car.
20 years ago, Hyundai was kind of a joke.
They
It
were
was
terrible.
kind of a
No,
punchline
they
of
were
a joke.
I started
It's a throwaway
Hyundai
car.
in 1986,
Oh,
and I told the owner, "Are you out of your freaking mind? We are not going to. I mean, I can't keep Lincolns running, and you're going to bring us this thing." But we can sell it
They
for
got-
$5,058.
They got the last laugh. They've been doing really well.
I could-
Hyundai.
Yeah,
What was the other one? Hyundai and
Hyundai and Kia.
Yeah, Hyundai and Kia.
They're in the top 5 of.
They're so good.
They're the top 5 of all the safety, all the
And they're comfy.
All right, 10 seconds. Gotta think about it.
Thanks for watching this episode from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns and the Second Amendment. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just do a search for Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Don't forget to support our sponsors. Click on the links in the show notes and support the businesses that support your Second Amendment rights. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.